really tight. It would have been something absolutely spectacular to beat Prabhsukh and Gill. He's well aware of his angles. He felt it got a touch. It should have been a corner.
Mishra Niwas.
Kian Nasiri, first man in the book.
Yeah, I think that booking is more probably for the dissent or protesting towards the referee. That's the second occasion when he's been checked off of the ball by East Bengal players. He just probably felt the referees not notice or not pick that up. But I think the referee's allowing the game to flow, and that's what we want to see. I don't want to see a game with too many stoppages. Had those kind of games in the past when you have these derbies. And Kian's got to step up to that occasion. He's got to be very careful there. Just been booked, trying to retaliate against Jay Gupta.
Yeah, there's something off the ball as well. And Jay Gupta, to his credit, immediately getting up, not making a meal out of it, trying to get him sent off. Oh, great angle on that, and it needed that sliding block in the end. Sandeep Mandi and Anwar Ali, a new centre-back partnership for East Bengal.
Yeah, it was a crucial interception from Sandeep Mandi. I've got to say, he's got his positioning absolutely spot on that occasion. Had to be inch perfect with that slide.
Chungnunga forward. Chungnunga's ball as well, and then Mehtab had to usher it out, or else it would have fallen into the feet of David Amar, who was waiting.
Yeah, good quality centre-back play from both sides now. Seeing Sandeep Mandi making a crucial interception on one side, and Mehtab on this occasion had to make that clearance.
Again, a decent delivery from Bipin. Mohun Bagan defend that well and can turn it into attack. Here's Thapa. Now his hit list and too accurate. East Bengal on the counter. Bipin in his stride. Edmund had a couple of options as well. Bipin was just trying to possibly pull a man away and create that little space for Edmund to run into and get into a shooting position.
Yeah, the game certainly come to life, picked up a little bit after that hydration break. Seen a few more end-to-end chances, both teams committing players forward. Once again, you can see both, especially in transition, both the teams have that pace to hurt the opposition if they commit too many men forward.
Sahal. Abhimitay. Manveer, seen by Jay Gupta, worked out by Danu, very smartly indeed. Decent composure at the back as well from East Bengal. About time, since there would be panic station every time they would come under pressure. Last season seems to have hardened them in terms of mentality. Good touch from Danu. Edmund. Anwar Ali. Wonder what the idea was from Anwar Ali there. David Amar was surrounded by at least 3 defenders. Wasted spell of possession from East Bengal. Abhimite. Again, looking for that channel. The gap between Jai Gupta and Sandeep Mandi is the one to exploit. Kian Nasiri's return pass is fine. Abhimite's cross takes a touch and goes out for a corner.
Yeah, once again, it's this combination down this right-hand side. Abhimite and Kian Nasiri creating that 2v1. And it needed Mandi to be in the right position. Get a little bit on that cross to turn it away for a corner.
Liston will have to wait. Kian Nasiri once again involved with Jai Gupta. Onus is on the Bagan player to stay calm and not get sucked into this so early in a game. More than a half left. Liston's ball. And Manveer is just trying to send it back into the box. A push from Thapa on Edmund. Both teams have enough positives to take into half-time.
Yeah, certainly the first competitive game of the season. You go and you'd be happy in terms of the way they've managed to circulate the ball. Not really giving away too many clear-cut chances to the opposition. Been too wasteful in possession. And obviously it's going to take time in pre-season. You're not going to have things fine-tuned, especially with new coaches coming into both setups. It's going to take a while for the players to adjust to what their demands are.
What a nice turn from Sahal. Jai Gupta had a long touch and it was instantly taken away from him. Sahal once again, this time it was well seen by Anwar Ali.
Yeah, really good anticipation from Anwar Ali. Read the intentions immediately and cut that ball out. Otherwise, Liston would have been away.
Subhashish. Bagan get possession back after Jai Gupta's loose pass on the other side. Thapa unable to find the gap. David Amar, that's loose. Gathering pace, and he was getting to a position from where he could shoot Apuya, and Edmund had to nudge him a little. It was enough to bring him down, and Mohun Bagan, super giant, have an excellent opportunity to score from this kind of range.
Yeah, it's probably the slightest of touches. You have to kind of agree a little bit with Edmund. Was that touch enough to go down spectacularly in it, as Apuya did? But then again, if you're an attacking player in that position, you feel any contact, you are going to go down. And it looks like Edmund once again has talked himself into the referee's book.
What a position. If someone asked anybody in the stands to place a ball and attempt a free kick, they'd possibly place it exactly where Liston has. We're into 2 minutes of added time. It is Liston Colasso. Took a touch and went out, but Prabhsukan Gill was rooted to the spot just in case that deflection was going goalwards.
Yeah, as soon as I took the deflection, Prabhsukan Gill was completely beaten and just praying and hoping that wasn't curling in towards the far post. Possibly the last chance of the first half now for Mohun Bagan.
It's Liston again. Seen away by Mundy, and Edmund tried to move it on. Goal kick in the end. Huge sigh of relief for Habas and company. Almost have to double check before saying Habas and mentioning him along with East Bengal instead of the maroon and greens. The biggest managerial surprise of the season so far. A soft free kick given away.
Yeah, I think both sets of players probably looking forward to that. The longer whistle that would signal half-time. Some players have put in a tough shift already in the first 45.
Yeah, that shift ends. They'll get a break for about 12 to 15 minutes. East Bengal had some moments. Mohun Bagan super giant had a lot. Sahal Abdul Samad in the thick of it all. Anwar Ali and Sandeep Mandi have had to defend. There's always the threat of Edmund, Bipin and even Rohit Danu. As Antonio Lopez Habas takes on Mohun Bagan super giant for the first time in his time in India in this Indian Oil Durand Cup opener. And the packed stands at the Salt Lake have seen a goalless half. But there is no lack of intensity. Both teams with enough in the tank to make it a very competitive half. Very close. At one point, Mohun Bagan super giant almost having 70% of the ball. East Bengal did eat into that possession. But it's the shots that they have to get away. Nothing on target yet for this evening's home side. And of course, Kian Nasiri is the big risk. Already on a yellow card. I wonder how many minutes he will last before Panos Limperis thinks it's too much of a risk to continue having him on the pitch, given that Jai Gupta has been trying to get under his skin. Illustrious history, of course, of both these teams. The Red and Gold Brigade dominating the tournament in the late 80s, the early 90s as well. One hat-trick of titles between 89 and 91. Now that title is a long way away, but it is the opening game, and any momentum generated in the next 45 minutes will take them deep into this edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup. They have to keep up the same kind of intensity, of course. Just a heavy touch. And that's something that Mohun Bagan have done so well, especially the midfield. The second they have a chance to bite the ankles after a bad touch, they've won it back. Bipin was put through by Rohit Kumar. Great weight on that. And slightly behind everyone. Going forward for East Bengal, Bipin had to play it slightly further forward. Here's Bipin once more. Liston. Just keeping the Bagan Super Giant on their toes. Here's Liston. Is in the box. Cutbacks available. Slightly chaotic, but then play was pulled back. They've taken it quickly as well. Bipin over the top. Well shielded by David Amar. Until Thapa came and there was no one to help out.
No support whatsoever for... Yeah, just not enough support for David Amar. When that ball's played forward, just look how long he's had to hold it up before he can even get any red and gold player even in the same vicinity for him to look to combine with. I think that's where at times, and we've seen this over the years with Abbas's sides, it's defense first, make sure you don't concede. But that's the big transition now from the East Bengal we saw last season, where really exciting to watch, good attacking play. And the fans have become accustomed to that. And we wait to see now in the second half whether they can bring on some players off of that bench who can at least keep them true to that attacking intent and attacking style.
Another early ball attempted. Here's that ball which came in.
I think the flag from the assistant referee had already gone up. I wonder whether it was for an offside or whether it was a handball in the way Liston brought that ball down. So it wouldn't have really mattered even if Manveer had got the telling touch.
Oh, the body feints that Sahal uses. And when he's in this kind of mood, really good to watch. Opened his body as if to play it down the wing. Just plays that central pass. Has tried it a couple of times already in this game. Didn't work out, but that one did. And when it does, it looks so good. And there are some players who have that creative freedom. The head coaches know they will try something. That's where their creativity lies. And Sahal has managed to marry that with with more combative qualities over the last couple of seasons, lasting longer in games, finishing matches as well at times, and possibly having to fight for his place in the team has changed that mentality. Might have taken his place for granted in the Kerala Blasters setup.
Yeah, he's certainly a much improved player, having made the move to Kolkata. And the ability to play with better players, play under the pressure of the situation. You play in front of these crowds, that really makes you as a player. You speak to players in the past, and they say it's one thing, playing in Kolkata as an away team, how you can probably raise your level to that occasion. It's a whole different experience and ability that you need to play for one of the Kolkata Giants, to perform week in, week out, under the pressure, under the scrutiny. It's the fans, it's the media, it's not just the games, it's the training sessions, it's every day. And it's only some of the best that really can rise to those standards.
Liston through the middle. Couldn't cushion it, Sahal. 6 group winners and 2 of the best runners up go into the final 8. In terms of deciding the group, the head-to-head will be considered first as the first tiebreaker. And in terms of deciding the best runners-ups, it'll be goal difference, which will be the first tiebreaker after points. The goal difference is going to be quite important. Sahal for Liston. This time the flag stays down. Teasing Chung Nunga, who eventually stood his ground and sent the ball away from him.
You can clearly see the instructions at halftime has been to try and get Liston involved a little bit more in the attacks. We've seen a lot more of the ball down this left-hand flank from Mohun Bagan than we did probably in the entire first half.
Good play from Bipin. Liston's attempt was blocked. Bagan trying to win it back in really good positions. Here's Mehtab. Good idea to pass it to Liston. Now Thapa. Control his studs under that. Still opens up for Kian Nasiri, who finds himself in some space. Manveer and Sahal knocks it in. We have the first goal of the Indian Oil Durand Cup 2026, and it is Sahal Abdul Samad, the man who deserves it the most on the pitch, with the easiest of tap-ins after some excellent work from Kian Nasiri, who seems to be saving his best for Kolkata derbies. It's 1-0, Mohun Bagan Super Giant lead.
After all the attacking prowess, it was the pressing that they've demonstrated in the second half that's led to that goal. Put the pressure on East Bengal as they were trying to play out from the back. Initially it was Thapa that had lost the ball, but it's that counter press to win the ball back immediately, put the pressure on. That's when Kian Nasiri wins the ball. There's a clever little dummy, or we'll say it was a dummy from Manveer as he tried to flick it through his legs. And Rohit Kumar hasn't tracked the run. Sahal Abdul Samad, and he has the easiest of tap-ins. Silky feet, great touches earlier on. All he needed was one touch to put that into the back of the net and put aside into the lead. The question now is, can they hold on to it, or can they increase that lead?
Just brilliant in terms of that pressing, that aggression that they've shown. And in case you were wondering how Panos Tilperis would want his team to play, that is how he would want them to play. Now it's East Bengal's turn. Bipin's ball in once again. The deliveries are all into good areas, but they're always behind the runners. It's either the runners need to make a slightly later run, or Bipin's delivery has to be almost pinpoint. Something has to change in that entire equation.
You just need a few more men getting forward. You need some midfield runners. When you're playing with the likes of Jeekson, you expect him to probably sit a little bit more deeper and protect that space in front of the back four, and that's where I think Rohit Kumar just not getting forward in terms of support to the forward players, and obviously guilty for letting Kian, or should I say Sahal, run off of him for that first goal.
Manveer set free by Liston. Anwar Ali got to watch his defending with that close-up angle. Liston wins it back. The Bagan now imposing their quality on East Bengal. Here's Kian Nasiri. Wins a corner. Great to see the crowds coming in. A new paperless ticketing system this time implemented by the government of West Bengal. Wonder why it took us so long to get to that point in a country which has the most number of mobile phones in the world. But now that we're finally there, you can see that it might have made a little bit of difference in terms of the numbers in the stands when that discomfort of having to go and get your physical ticket has been removed as one of the hurdles to attend a football game. Here's Thapa. A good ball in. Now every time Mohun Bagan will attack, East Bengal will have to make sure that they don't crumble under the pressure.
Yeah, this is really good work from Mohun Bagan. Every time they've lost possession, they managed to win it back within the sort of next 3 to 4 passes, within the next 5 to 10 seconds. Really good intensity from them, not giving East Bengal time on the ball in those transitions. And you've got to give credit to their backroom staff, strength and conditioning staff, for this level of fitness levels at this stage of the season. It's good to see the intensity in which this Mohun Bagan side is playing.
Yeah, they've had some CFL action as well. It surely must have helped. Here's Jai Gupta. Great move from David Amar. They had to send it in earlier. Abhimithe stuck a leg out and got enough of it.
Yes, a better response. Good feet. Just going past the players, but just showing a little bit too much of the ball as soon as he brought it onto his right foot. And this is where you can see now Antonio Habas knows how crucial this fixture is and bringing on the big guns that he does have on the bench.
Kian Nasiri is down. Pardon me, Brad, but just thought we'd mention he's been captaining the Mohun Bagan side in the CFL. A goal and 3 assists already. There's some maturity, just building there. He needs a run of games. A big chance for him to show what he can do down the right wing. And Rashid will join proceedings after this delivery. East Bengal have had a few chances from corners. Haven't taken them.
Yeah, I'd probably expect to see Rohit Kumar make way for Rashid. One question of Rohit Danu, who started off lively but going a bit quiet. Allowing the likes of Vishnu to come on and show his pace and what he can bring to an Antonio Habas side.
Had a great season. PV Vishnu came on for little bursts, started a few games, got enough experience as a wing back as well as a winger. Probably necessary to know how to defend in this East Bengal side, which always seems to need cover every time their wings are being exploited. Rashid, who had one of the most telling touches of East Bengal's last season, also on the pitch as we approach the hour mark. It'll all start with the Puya as they attempt to build up from here. Incredible how wide the centre-backs are being asked to split. I mean, we've seen this, of course, with different teams, various tournaments and leagues around the world. It's It might be a little new maybe for Mehtab, especially. Rahul Beke has had experience as a right back, so that comes naturally to him.
Yeah, you could just see the rotations as well. Now, Anirudh Thapa picking up that space in between the two centre-backs. It's these transitions and where they have to quickly regroup and get into shape.
Bipin's attempt, too powerful. Vishal Kaid happy to see that soar above his gloves.
Yeah, it's more a shot out of hope and desperation than with any clear intent of troubling the goalkeeper. Yeah, you can see the reaction. It's both teams starting off all Indian lineups, and with one coach bringing that player on, a foreign player on. It's forcing possibly the other one to react. The goal scorer and the man who created the goal, the assist provider, Kian Nasiri, making way for Deepak Tangri, and the new signing, Dejan Drazic.
Yeah, what an exciting signing. Exceptional season for the Gores last term, carrying much of their attacking responsibilities. And Deepak Tangri in there to just to reinforce any gaps that East Bengal might have seen in Bagan's midfield. And now that you've said it, Brad, just hoping that assist isn't given away to Manveer for a little flick before Sahal tapped it in.
Yeah, he might have got the faintest of touches, but he certainly was instrumental in creating that goal. And a different season, different coach, but once you go 1-0 up, Deepak Tangri comes on. That seems to be a familiar story with Mohun Bagan Super Giants.
Yeah, almost makes you feel a little bad for someone like a Suryavanshi who's also on the bench, who might not be able to throw his body around, but is more composed on the ball, technically has more abilities than Deepak Tangri, whose fight usually makes up for any lack of.
But you wonder what it does to the mindset of players when you know certain types of players come on the field. Does that mean you're going to sit back a little bit deeper, sit back and try and protect that one-goal lead? They certainly have dropped off in terms of, you look at where their back line is now, and that midfield line certainly playing a lot deeper than they were prior to the goal. And we've seen that with Panos and Brett's side. Does he go a little bit too conservative at times? I mean, it's a big change from the way Mohun Bagan Super Giants was set up last season, where, you know, it was always attack, and try and score as many goals as possible. Is this a bit more of a pragmatic Mohun Bagan Super Giants side that we're seeing?
Well, one thing Deepak Tangri's introduction does is probably frees up Apuya to play 10 yards further up the pitch. Quick feed from Liston. Flag stays down as Abhimite sends him across. No one at the far post there, and Drazic had come very central, in fact, almost at the near post.
Yeah, what it's also done is shown an interesting conundrum. We were just thinking before the match started, if Drazic, who was at the press conference, was to start, would he start in his preferred left wing where he can cut inside on his right foot? If so, where does Liston Colasso play? Does he have to shift across the right, because he too loves to come in off of the left wing, cut onto his favoured right foot? So is it going to be a competition for places between the two of them this season, or will Liston or Drazic have to adapt and play on the opposite wing?
Edmund tried to slip it through. East Bengal needs some inspiration going forward. Here's Thapa, meanwhile, for Bagan. Manveer just stopped his run, thinking that Thapa didn't have him in his radar. Drazic, of course, has also led the line for Goa more out of the lack of strikers that the Goars had. given that Bagan always have a number 9. And Jamie McLaren will, of course, join the team at some point. He might have to play down the left where he is most productive. That's offside.
Yeah, you can just see there's a little bit of misunderstanding between the likes of Manvir and Drazic, not recognising how to sort of get the sort of opposite movement. And as Drazic is sort of pulling into that channel, that's possibly where Manvir can come towards the ball or create that space for Drazic. On the previous occasion where Drazic is trying to drag the defender away, Manvir wasn't alert to recognise that he could run into that space and Thapa would find him. But those are the pre-season teething problems that one would expect. As you rightly said, pull up. Once Jamie McLaren's back and Jamie McLaren's in the lineup, how do the likes of Drazic see themselves in the lineup as well as Manvir? It's a perfect opportunity for them now to either develop a little bit of an understanding and give Panos that headache, or give him that plan B that he'll need during the course of the season.
There's just that time of the season where one can throw an idea out and not sound silly, but Manvir down the right, Liston down the left, and Drazic central doesn't sound like a terribly bad idea either.
Unless you're Liston Colasso.
Apuya. Bagan dominating the ball now. Bagan's fans dominating the sounds at the Salt Lake at this point. A few heads just dropping for East Bengal. You can see Jackson tired as well. Just no spark up front. That has possibly been the telling point. They've done decently otherwise. Lazy, and that's a sign that Abbas might have to change a thing or two.
Yeah, hands on the hips from Habas and some tired looking players on East Bengal. And you look at that bench and you wonder, what are the changes? Could it be a Mark Zotan Poya? Maybe Ramsanga coming on, somebody to possibly just give them a little bit more of an injection of pace and options in midfield.
The referee's seen something in the middle of the park. Play stopped for that. Exciting times for Mohun Bagan. Every close season, of course, with the number of signings they make. Most of them headliners. It's around this time, late July, early August, when every football fan starts believing. Suhail ready to come on, along with another incredible signing for East Bengal in Ramirez. Panos will know him through and through. Manvir will come off. It's another pivotal year in the life of Suhail Ahmed Bhatt. Playing age group football for the national team and has been with Bagan's B side for a number of years now. Gets a look in now and again, but can't really show everything he has in the 10 odd minutes that he would come on as a substitute in the previous season. Now he's getting a little more than 20.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those players I'd be wanting to see more game time this season, and I think under the likes of a coach like Panos, it's a lot more developmental.
Here's a chance. Edmund did check it back onto his stronger side, but then quickly closed down. Good defending. Another little opening. This time it's a better attempt, and Mehtab had to be there to clear it away before it was tapped back in towards the goal by Edmund. Good sign from East Bengal now. Jai Gupta stops it. Well done. Here comes the cross. Seen off by Subhashish. Here's Thapa. Mohun Bagan can spring a counter. Suhail had to chase that pass, which was too strong for him.
Yeah, that's a risk when you drop off and sit deeper and deeper, inviting the opposition onto you. So needed a good save from Vishal Kait. Unfortunately for him, he had numbers around, bodies around him. And the subs making almost an instant impact for Antonio Habas's East Bengal. But this is the risk. You're sitting deeper and deeper. You're inviting the opposition with the likes of Daniel Ramirez on the field now. You can unlock the best of defences. And possibly why Panos brought on the likes of Suhail to hit East Bengal on the counter-attack, because they're going to obviously commit men forward, leave spaces behind. And the second goal at this stage of the game would almost certainly kill off the tyres of contest. And given the dynamics of the group, looking at the other two teams, you'd probably feel the winner here is almost guaranteed to go through as group winner. And it's a matter of damage limitation then from the team that doesn't pick up 3 points. If East Bengal were to lose this game, and then have to try and rack up as many goals as possible against the likes of South United and CISF protectors.
Slightly refreshed now, East Bengal, with PV Vishnu, Ramirez, Rashid, all three on the pitch. Drazic, wonderful weight of ball. Here's Suhail, out for a corner, and that's what Drazic can offer. It's not just wing play, but also the intelligence of an overall all-round decent attacker. Wonderful view of the Salt Lake as football restarts in India. This time a lot of positive momentum. Clubs taking control. Still a lot of things to sort out, but the important news is that there will be a full league season as Drazic sends this in. Cleared away by Jai Gupta, who's not willing to take a risk. Thapa. Abhimitay rapidly chasing that down. Well played by Vishnu. He's also had a decent beginning to the Kolkata Football League, already having a hat-trick.
Yeah, you can just see the difference already with Suhail Ahmed Butt chasing things down, applying a little bit of pressure from the front, and making some really good runs already to give his players options.
Oh, here we go, and Subhashish surely stopped a promising attack. He wasn't the last man though, which might mean it's only a yellow card. He has to make a quick decision. It is yellow, and Subhashish will be very, very pleased that at least one of his two centre-backs were also making the run in behind him.
Yeah, you can see there, top of the picture, Nalbeke is in a covering position. That's a saving grace for Subhashish, which is why it's a yellow and not a red. He'll say that's absolutely the right decision in this stage of the game. 1-0 lead, bring Edmund down, because there's absolutely no way Subhashish was catching him. He's looked a little bit leggy today, hasn't really got forward in attack. And is it a case of him showing his age a little bit now?
Yeah, a couple of times he's been caught in possession. Ramirez with a floater. It's a really good ball as well, causes some problems. Subashish redeems himself with a clearance. But you can see what the injection of quality has done for the team which is trailing.
Yeah, just quality delivery from Ramirez on that set piece, floated in towards the far back post. And once again, the set piece defending of Mohun Bagan leaves a lot to improve on. Subashish gets 2 bites of it, doesn't clear it the first time. Fortunately for him, Anwar just couldn't close him down.
Yeah, we go into a cooling break, Brad, and here's one for you. And a lot has been made about Miguel's transfer away from one Kolkata side to the other one. But if you look overall, would you swap a Miguel for a Danny Ramirez? Just not questioning Miguel's abilities on the ball and what a maverick he is. But maybe in terms of discipline and how long he can last on the pitch and all of those factors as we look at the opening goal. But there's just some food for thought for you now that Ramirez is on the pitch. Here we see Sahal's tap in, which continues to be the difference between the two teams.
Yeah, so we're having another look at that. Didn't see any touch from Manveer. So it looks like it was the hard work, and he should get the rewards. Kian Nasiri. And there's a clever movement from Sahal as well, we talked about it. As playing as that number 10, he's got to get himself into the box in the right time, in the right areas. And when they did pick Bagan's pocket, win the ball back, making sure he's in the right place at the right time. But yeah, just going back to that question, I think it's an interesting one. And as the season pans out, we'll see. It's a question about these players, the likes of Sahal, Ramirez, Miguel. We know what they can do with the ball. It's always the question of what do you do when you don't have the ball, and also the question of the work rate. And I think, you know, there were some fans in Kolkata and others across the country who felt at times, you know, with Miguel is a luxury in terms of when the team does not have possession, does he really contribute in terms of how his team operates out of possession? Is Ramirez a bit more well-rounded for that role? I think these are questions that fans will discuss, debate. And I think that's what makes it more interesting this year, because we're going to have not just this Kolkata Derby today in the Durand, but at least 2 more of them in the leagues, and possibly more if there's more cup competitions.
Deepak. Subashish. Not good enough for Drazic. Still time for East Bengal to fight back into this with everything that transpired in the season which is gone. If they've saved up some mentality from what was a side which kept fighting back right until the end and saving points in the last few minutes, then Panos Lilperis will be wary of that ability. Edmund. Great turn and a flick for Bipin. Drazic doing his defensive duties. And now Liston picks it up, runs into a challenge from Anwar Ali. Prabsukhan was calm, maintains possession. Here's Jai Gupta in a race with Liston. Not for a throw-in, it's for East Bengal, who've taken it quickly. What has been very nice to watch or not watch is a long throw-in. We haven't had one of those so far in this game. Rashid tried to step onto it. Edmund is onto it. And now Chungnunga from a narrow angle. Vishal Keth parries it away. Chungnunga set it back up for Rashid, who has skied it.
Yeah, it was a tougher chance than it looked for Rashid. But as the ball breaks, this is clever from Edmund, just recognising the movement of Chungnunga. Takes a brilliant shot from a very, very acute angle, and then is clever enough to just nod that back into the danger area. players closing him down. Had to take a good first touch to bring it down. And once again, you can see a good save. Standing tall from Vishal Kait. And how Habas would have wanted that to go in. And want to start his tenure against his former employers and the arch rivals now.
Krasic once more is so good at that. Just tucking in a little and making his creativity felt. Mehtab shrugged away. Almost getting in and causing problems. East Bengal slowly fighting back into this, with Jasin TK getting the better of Mehtab here.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little shove in the back of Mehtab. The sub who's come on, fresh legs, just come on for Bipin. Showing what a fresh pair of legs can do at this stage of the game. And it's nice to see, I mean, amongst all the talks of the players and tactics, what you also see in the first game of the season is what the instructions are to the referees. And I think the referees have been, clearly allowing a lot of the play to go on, trying to get the game flowing, not stopping the game as much. I think there's been a really good flow to the game, and credit to the referees for that, as Alberto Rodriguez comes on for what probably will be a shift into a back three now.
Which is why Shayan is also coming on. Liston making way. Shayan also goes into the list of players who have played for both the sides, which is why the mixed response when he came onto the pitch. Half of the stadium was booing the move and the other half was cheering it. Rashid cleanly with the ball. Nice dink into the path of Vishnu. Makes a quick look inside as well. Time to send that in. It's a great ball as well. Jasin should have got more of his head onto it. It's probably the third or fourth header which East Bengal have failed to connect with in a nice area.
Even on the first ball, could Vishnu's touch have been a little bit better and taken him towards goal? He makes up for it with a lovely little ball, just possibly behind for Jasin to get the sort of contact he wanted. And I think you mentioned it earlier, but it's been about 3 or 4 occasions today when the crosses have come in from East Bengal way. It's just been marginally behind the player, and they couldn't get the right sort of contact. And Vishal Kait has probably made more saves than Prabhsukh and Gill over the course of this game.
Cheekson. Just touched away by Rahul Peke. It's been a steady game. What you mentioned about the referees, also very much correct, Brad, in terms of how there's been a flow to the game. A lot of soft free kicks and fouls not given. It is physical. It is a contact sport.
And credit to the players as well. There hasn't been any rolling around, time wasting. And we hope that's something that stays during the course of the season. I want to see as much ball in play as possible. The referees forcing these kind of situations where teams take too long on the restarts.
Here's one. If the goalkeepers don't go down with cramp in the first game of the season, then they should not go down with cramp in any game of the season from this point onwards.
Absolutely. And there's a goalkeeper on one of these two sides who picked up a fair few yellow cards last season for time wasting. And he's not in that trouble at the moment, but that's possibly because his side are trailing in the game.
And that's a challenge. Deepak Tangre is starting the build-up. Probably might develop and add some new abilities under Dylan Paris. And perhaps sometimes what a player needs is belief and good coaching. And the latter is not sometimes, but always. Here's Rashid. Edmund. Good run from Chungnunga. Rashid once more. Now Edmund. Unable to find space on his first attempt. East Bengal will rethink their approach. Straight from distance. Vishal Keth had to be aware of that. Danny Ramirez testing him. Good response this. When they have to attack like this, they have to go high up the pitch. Not sit back and be shy. PV Vishnu plays it out wide for Jai Gupta and gets it back. Vishnu's ball in has a lot of pace. And Ramirez's touch only took it towards the post. That was close. The closest they've come to scoring.
Yeah, some great movement from Ramirez to get himself in that position. Got just the minimal contact that he wanted just to redirect it towards goal, but just couldn't sneak in on the other side of the post. Vishal Keth would have been well and truly beaten. It's pretty much been one-way traffic for the last 10 minutes. It's been all East Bengal. And this will be a welcome relief for Mohun Bagan players, a set-piece opportunity in the opposition half. Maybe they get the likes of Alberto Rodriguez up into attack. Not too much in that challenge. And Mandi just goes arms up there to protect himself as well.
Drazic was the only one, and he was nearly found. East Bengal now have more of the ball, and they've almost come level in terms of shots and shots on target. Yeah, the key is to have that kind of performance without conceding first. Here's Vishnu. Another good ball. Jessin tried to roll it towards goal, just kept in play. They're asking for handball. Apuya on the goal line. Nothing given. And that's one aspect of Jai Gupta's game that has to get better.
Yeah, here's that look at the handballers. Apuya went to clear it, slipped. And it's come off. Possibly touched Raul Baker in that region, but again, it's come off of his own player, arms close to the body. Not one that should be given.
Cheeks a nice turn and pass for Ramirez. Edmund wins it back. Everything happened too quickly for Rashid. Offside. Now we are hearing that there will be 5 minutes of added time. Sandeep Mandi clipped it forward for Jessin. The last touch came off Mohun Bagan. Here's Jai Gupta, better angle to cross it. Leaves it for Jessin instead. Finally Mandi.
Yeah, it's just finding it difficult to break down a well-organised Mohun Bagan defence that is sitting compact, sitting deep. It's not allowing space. So you get the ball out wide, you want to put crosses into the box. We've got the likes of Mehta, Rodriguez and Raul Beke to deal with it. I think you'd be comfortable with their ability to deal with crosses into the box.
There's confirmation of the 5 added on. Apuya's influence has waned over the last 15 minutes. But this will do, as long as he keeps winning free kicks.
Yeah, that's the experience now that Apuya has, recognising at this stage of the game, got to hold on to the ball a little bit, invite a couple of the challenges. Eaten up valuable 30 seconds now by drawing that foul.
Suhail, offside.
Suhail probably arguing, did that come off an East Bengal player? And Pano's probably feeling the same. Certainly was in an offside position, but I felt that ball came off. The last touch was off an East Bengal player. We'll have another look at it in a moment.
And it was also an attempt at a defensive action before that touch came from the East Bengal player, which would make Suhail onside. Here come East Bengal. Better delivery this time. Rashid, wonderful attempt. And a fine save from Vishal Kaith. Big moment in the game.
Absolutely big moment. Wonderful ball. Great stretch and great contact from Rashid to get that goal bound. And that is a top save from Vishal Kaith. A lot of keepers might have gone down too early. Stays big, read the bounce of the ball, sort of dived into the bounce of the ball to actually get power and not only just palm it away to safety.
Ramirez with a corner. Attacked! Oh, and Anwar Ali, who's usually on point with those attempts, had an excellent scoring season in the Indian Super League in the previous campaign. Misses the target.
Yeah, we kept saying from the early moments, set pieces were something where you felt Mohun Bagan probably not as well organised yet at this stage of the season, and something where East Bengal and the likes of Anwar Ali could exploit that weakness. You know, normally at this stage of the game, you're wondering about who's the player that stood out as the player of the match for you. And it's tough to pick one out. It hasn't been one of those games where any individual has really stood out, but I think with the number of saves he's made, and especially that one just moments earlier, I think Vishal Kaith probably just edging it for me.
Edmund cheeks in, trying to get it out of his feet. Manages to do so. Could have taken a shot himself. Probably earned the right to do so. Ramirez. And back into his path. Needed someone at the far post. Chununga eventually recovers it. And they'll get a corner. Did eventually recover from a couple of mistakes. Chununga had a better second half. Ramirez with the ball in, a lot of pace on that. Prabsukhan trying to switch it out wide. Jai Gupta cushions it for Jeekson. Ramirez cutting in field. And here's Gupta. Whipped in. Thapa with incredible awareness to play that ball out wide. Here's Shaun. For the first time in possession, Shaun Banerjee straight to the keeper. Possibly the last move now for East Bengal as we approach 5 completed minutes of added time. Rashid. Jessin. Yeah, the moment's gone. Panos Dilpewis wins his first game in charge of Mohun Bagan Supergiant in this edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup. A bit of vengeance from last season and the draw and the drama and the eventual giving away of the shield. But they will say this is just the beginning. For Habas, this is what it means to be on the other side of Kolkata. You usually end up arguing and making a case after 90 minutes when you're in red and gold. But if this is the precursor to the season which is to come, then it has been an excellent example of what these two teams can produce on an evening like this after the close season.
Yeah, it wasn't an all-time classic, but for an early season, opening game of the season, opening game of the Indian Oil Durand Cup, a really good quality game, great intensity, great battle between two sides. In the way these two sides are playing at the moment, already at this stage, without being at full strength, you'd have to say, could they be favourites to go all the way in this competition? Very impressive start from Panos Dilpewis' side. A clean sheet, had to ride their luck a little bit. Some wonderful saves from Vishal Kate and this man on screen. Given the opportunity to start, showed us moments of brilliance in the first half. And he could have got themselves on the score sheet. And eventually, it's a combination of good attacking play, good pressing, and some solid defending that's got them the win tonight and put them at the top of the table and probably in a very good chance of qualifying from this group.
And so it ends 1-0 to Mohun Bagan Supergiant in this Indian Oil Durand Cup opener. It's a loss that won't feel like a defeat for his